Johnson history, a dangerous warlord. Prince Johnson was a Liberian warlord and one of the most dangerous warlords in Africa. He was popularly known for capturing Liberian President Samuel Doe and executed him. Who was really Prince Johnson? Listen his story and know more about him, his year life, education, and more about him. Don't forget to make subscribe, like, share, and comment. His real name or complete name was Prince Yoromi Johnson. Was born on 1952 in Tapeta, Nimba in Liberia, and he was died in 28 November 2024 in Pinesville, Monserrado in Liberia. He was a Liberian warlord and politician, served as a senator for Nimba County from 2006 till 2024. He was a rebel. Prince Johnson played a prominent role in the first Liberian Civil War. Year life. Prince Johnson was born in Tapeta in Nimba County in the east central interior of the county, and he was brought up by the uncle in the capital city of Monrovia. While living in Liberia, Prince Johnson joined the Liberian National Guards (LNG), which was transformed into the Armed Forces of Liberia (AFL) in the aftermath of Sergeant Samuel Canyon Doe's 1980 overthrow of President William Tobert. Prince Johnson rose to the rank of the lieutenant and received military training in Liberia and in the United States of America, where he was instructed in military police duties in South Carolina. At a stern and often draconian disciplinarian, he served as a aide-de-camp of General Thomas Kyongpa, the commanding general of the Armed Forces of Liberia, and accompanied him into exile in 1983 after General Kyongpa was accused of plotting a military coup against President Samuel Doe. The Liberian Civil War and the warlordship of Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson later allied with Charles Taylor as part of the National Patriotic Front of Liberia (NPFL). Prince Johnson served as an NPFL chief training officer. Charles Taylor fighters crossed the border from Ivory Coast and began operation in Liberia on Christmas Day in 1989. Formation of the INPFL. An internal power struggle resulted in Johnson breaking off with the Taylor-led NPFL and forming the Independent National Patriotic Front of Liberia (ENPFL). Despite intervention in the Civil War by the Economic Community of West Africa State Monitoring Group, popularly known as ECOMOG, NPFL captured most part of Monrovia in the summer of 1990. During the Civil War, Prince Johnson was notorious for killing anyone who opposed or criticized his action. He was too furious. Killing of President Samuel Doe on September 9, 1990. Prince Johnson's supporters abducted President Samuel Doe from ECOMOG headquarters in the Monrovian Port District. President Samuel Doe was going to meet Chief Army of ECOMOG. After arriving there, Prince Johnson's fighters came and began to fight with Presidential Guard, but Johnson fighters were heavily armed. They won and killed all Presidential Guard after they entered in the office, and they captured President Samuel Doe. After capturing him, they tortured and executed him in Johnson's custody on 9 September 1990, with the spectacle videotaped and broadcast around the world. This video showed Johnson sipping a Budweiser beer and being feigned by an assistant as his men cut off Doe's ear. Prince Johnson came to power after President Samuel Doe's death. Prince Johnson briefly claimed the presidency of Liberia. Prince Johnson claimed to power ended following the consolidation of rebel power under Charles Taylor in an attempt by the weak national government reconstructed by Liberian politics, and the NPFL was recognized at a conference held in Guinea-Bissau, where Amos Sewya was elected as Liberian president, flight to Nigeria. Prince Johnson was forced to flee to Nigeria in order to avoid being captured by rebel forces supporting Charles Taylor. Prince Johnson was not involved in the Second Liberian Civil War. Prince Johnson lived in Nigeria for 12 years. While he was in Nigeria, Prince Johnson became Christian and he reconciled with Samuel Doe's family through the intervention of Nigerian pastor late T.B. Joshua, returned in the public office. Prince Johnson returned to Liberia in March 2004 after 12 years following the resignation of President Charles Taylor and the installation of transitional government. Prince Johnson stated his intention to return in politics, but he briefly left Liberia again on April 7 that year due to health threat that he had received from Liberia United for Reconciliation and Democracy. In the 2005 general election, Prince Johnson contested and won Senate seat, represented Nimba County. For a period, he served as the chair of the Senate's Defense Committee. In the 2011 Prince Johnson ran in Liberia 2011 presidential election as the candidate of the newly formed National Union for Democratic Progress Party. He placed third with 11.6 points of the vote. The election was won by President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Ahead of 2014 Senate election, Prince Johnson was expelled from the NUDP, but he was elected to the Senate as an independent. By 2017, Prince Johnson formed a new party, the Movement for Democratic and Reconstruction (MDR). But in 2017 presidential election, Prince Johnson supported the former football player and Ballon d'Or winner George Weah, who was a candidate for Coalition of Democratic Change, and George Weah was elected as Liberian president on December 9, 2021. Prince Johnson was sanctioned by the United Nations Department of Treasury for alleged political corruption, claiming that he would sell votes in election for financial gains. Towards the ending of 2022, Prince Johnson withdrew his support for the President George Weah and the CDC. Prince Johnson cited that the lack of Nimba County representation in the top appointed position. In December 2022, Prince Johnson resigned as MDR. In the 2023 Senate election, Prince Johnson was elected with the MDR. Prince Johnson's death. Prince Johnson died in a hospital in Pioneersville, Montserrado on 28 November 2024 at the age of 72. Prince Johnson was granted a 5-day state funeral and he was buried at the PYT, Prince Yoromi Johnson University, named after him in Granta, Nimba County, where he was born on 18 January 2025. Current President Joseph Boakai and retired President George Weah and many Liberians attended his funeral. What did you learn about the Prince Johnson story? Tell us in the comment. Don't forget to make a subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.